The fall of Benin, when the British burned an empire. Long before colonial maps were drawn, before Lagos or London ever imagined power over West Africa, there stood the mighty Benin Empire, a kingdom of art, order, and unimaginable wealth. Benin was not just a city, it was a masterpiece. Its walls stretched for hundreds of kilometers, greater than the Great Wall of China in length. Its bronzes told stories of kings and gods, crafted with precision the world had never seen. But in the year 1897, that masterpiece would burn. The British Empire had one goal: control of trade, ivory and power. When the Oba of Benin, Ovenramwen Nogbesi, resisted British demands, they called him savage and they prepared for war. In February 1897, 1,200 British soldiers marched into Benin. They carried rifles, cannons and vengeance. They called it a punitive expedition, but history remembers it as one of the darkest chapters of colonial conquest. For days, the Benin warriors fought with courage and fury, but their spears and arrows met British guns and fire. When the battle ended, the city burned. The British looted everything: thousands of priceless bronzes, ivory tusks, and royal treasures. They shipped them away to museums across Europe. What could not be carried was destroyed. Oba Ovenramwen was captured and exiled to Calabar. The throne of Benin fell silent, and an empire that once rivaled any in the world was gone. But the story did not end in fire. Today, the world remembers. The Benin Bronzes stand as symbols of genius and justice, and the descendants of Benin still call for their return. Empires may fall, but memory endures. This is the story of Benin, the empire that refused to be forgotten. The fall of Benin, when the British burned an empire. Long before Europe carved Africa into colonies, there stood the powerful Benin Empire, a city of artistry and order in what is now southern Nigeria. Its walls stretched farther than any in the ancient world, and its bronzes told stories of kings and gods, crafted with brilliance that stunned the world centuries later. But in 1897, that brilliance met the darkness of empire. The British, hungry for control of West African trade and ivory, demanded obedience from the Oba of Benin, Ovenramwen Nogbesi. When he refused, they called him a tyrant. Tension turned to blood when a British delegation was ambushed near Benin's borders. London's response was swift and brutal, a so-called punitive expedition. 1,200 British troops marched on Benin with rifles, cannons, and fire. The warriors of Benin fought fiercely to defend their sacred city, but their spears and arrows could not stand against machine guns. In days, the ancient city was engulfed in flames. Palaces and temples burned, and the air filled with smoke and sorrow. The conquerors looted everything: thousands of priceless bronzes and ivory treasures, shipped to museums across Europe as trophies of conquest. When the fire died, Oba Ovenramwen was taken in chains and exiled to Calabar. The empire that once dazzled explorers and diplomats was left in ruins, its people scattered, its art stolen, its story buried beneath colonial lies. Yet Benin's